Hey everybody, Ron Baber here with your tip of the week. One of the things that keeps coming up over and over in coaching calls and even in a meeting that I had this past Friday with someone I've known for a very long time, super successful mortgage company owner, big mortgage company. And the big thing that I keep hearing is so many originators, so many owners are feeling like there's just so many things that are out of control, out of your control. So the first thing we've got to understand is that when we have this feeling of being out of control, that impacts our sense of certainty. And in uncertain times, the things that we are looking for are certainty, which is why you've heard me talk about when somebody's focusing on interest rates and when are interest rates going to come down or what have you. And I'm always saying you have no control over that. So that's the wrong question. And those of you that have been listening to me for a while also know I'm all about asking great questions. So what are the things that we don't control? Well, can we control inventory? And that was actually where this whole idea of today's tip came from. In my meeting last week, the owner was like, well, how do you help my originators get more inventory on the market? I'm like, well, we can't do that. We don't have the ability to create more inventory. People are stuck in, or not stuck, but have their low interest rates. So we know the rate lock effect, and people don't want to sell their home for an interest rate that's more than double what they might have. So that was a question. I'm like, I can't answer that because I have no ability to change that. Neither do you. But what we do have is we have the ability to decide where we're going to put our focus. So we can't control inventory. We can't control what happens with interest rates. But what we can control is our prospecting, our marketing, the things that we do. But also there's some illusions out there that a lot of people aren't seeing. And here's this example. I was on a coaching call about a week and a half ago. And one of my clients was talking about there's no inventory, there's nothing being sold, there's nothing happening. And this also happened on the conversation on Friday as well. And they were talking about that there's just nothing around. I said, let me ask you a question. I go, how many transactions have closed in your county or in your area where you want to work? And this particular LO did the research because they said, I don't know. So on our next coaching call, they said there were over 4,000 closings. So I said, where are the closings happening? I don't know. Well, we got to find out where are the closings happening. Who's doing those closings? Where are those agents? Where is this activity happening? And if you can't answer these questions, if you're not willing to dig in to find out where business is being done and what the real numbers are, because even though you might not see for sale signs in your neighborhood, you might be talking to a number of agents that are saying there's just no business, there's no inventory, nobody's selling. The choice that you've got to make is who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the data, or are you going to listen to someone who's basically gotten so emotionally charged or so emotionally negative that they're not even looking for where business might be? Every market has its unique challenges. Some markets are better than others. Some markets are worse than others. I don't know what market you're in, but what I do know is that before you just start believing what people are telling you about the market, you have to make a decision as to what you have the ability to control. And it starts by asking a question, what's really happening in my market? How many transactions are being done? Who's doing these transactions? Where is it being done? And then you can come up with a better series of questions of how do I get into that market, or how do I go there? Because it is so easy to get caught up in the emotions of so many people that right now, we've never had more negativity in the housing market than we do today in history. And the media doesn't help. And you've heard me talk about that if you've been following me for a while. Those are things we can't control. But I can tell you this. Are people buying homes? Yes. Are people selling homes? Yes. Because there are people who are homeowners who have to sell. The people who are not selling are the people who have a choice. But there are many people that are still having life circumstances, events that are happening that are causing them to sell, whether it's getting older, whether it's something else happening in their life. We have to ask the questions that's to say, not what's going to happen with interest rates, what's going to happen with the housing market, not what the media is going to say. What we have to ask ourselves is, what's really happening? What is the truth about the market, and where, in fact, is business getting done? Because I can tell you this, if you're the one that asks those questions, then you're the one that's going to find that business. I am not saying this is easy. I'm telling you, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to dig deeper. You're going to get more no's than you've ever gotten before. But those of you that are willing to pursue that, and I have clients who have gone on a relentless campaign to find this business. And you know what? They're actually doing well in this market. Not 2020 and 2021 well. I mean, that would be, pie in the sky. Those were illusions. Those were one-offs that were never going to happen again when interest rates are 2 or 3%. But is there still business being done? Yes, there is. And you have to go out and find out where it's being done by focusing on what you have control over. I know this sounds a little bit of intense for me today because I'm really trying to get this message home that you have more control than you might believe you do. Make it a great week. See you next week.